What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen, and this is Colts Law. And we've already discussed the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've already discussed the Houston Texans. And now it's time to discuss the division champion Tennessee Titans. That's right, division champions. Tied with the Colts 11-5, but won the division because of, a better record in the division last year. We'll get to that right after this.
All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
So, we're back just like that. Appreciate everyone being here. And as you know, like I said in the intro, man, we've already discussed those other two teams, and they've done a lot. And the Jacksonville, it seemed like they improved quite a bit. Tennessee, depends upon how you look at it, depends upon what's going on with Deshawn Watson. I want to say thank you to those that are in here currently right now. I see Alpha Wolf, Nomadic Brian, and McChicken Vlogs. What's going on, guys? Appreciate you being here. Please don't forget to smash that like button. News dropped a couple hours ago about Sheldon Richardson being released from the Browns. I just literally 1 minute before going live uploaded my thoughts about that, so don't forget to check that out. While I'm here and I got you, don't forget, smash the like button. Hit subscribe to my channel, the notification bell so you're notified next time I go live. Don't forget to check out this right up here, right? My merch shop, description in a link below, and my Patreon. My phone is now telling me that my sister-in-law just received her merch from my merch shop. That is interesting. Anyhow, so let's get into it, actually, because the Tennessee Titans, boy, what they've done so far this offseason is confusing. They've lost some weapons on offense, some important weapons, but they gained help on defense? Let's look at that and see what we're looking at here, because they picked up Josh Reynolds to a 1-year deal. Tight ends, Anthony Fursker, agreed to a 1-year deal. They re-signed Jeff Swain to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. Now, you got to remember, they got those guys, but they lost Jonnu Smith, who is one of the, I would say he's a top 10 tight end in the NFL. They did agree to a 2-year deal with Kendall Lamb, the offensive tackle, and signed Ty Sambrailo. I don't have the contract details on that. We all know that on defense that they picked up Colts defensive end Danico Autry on a 3-year, $21.5 million deal, right? With $9 million guaranteed. 3 years, that's like a little over $7 million a year. Well, got a lot of Colts fans a little upset that Chris Ballard didn't jump in and get him for $7 million. A lot of people think that, he was definitely worth that, but maybe Ballard's looking to go younger. That's why he hasn't signed him or any of the other aging vets at defensive end so far. They did agree to terms to a 1-year deal worth $5.25 million to Jayon Brown, which is a very important keepsake right there. He's a very good all-around linebacker. And speaking of linebackers, boy, did they up some money. A 5-year, $85 million, $35 million guaranteed, Bud Dupree from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, that's a lot of money for a guy who had one good year and did so with a guy, TJ Watt, on the opposite of him. Now he's going to be the guy. They do have a defensive end over there that's pretty darn good. And we'll see how he works out in Simmons. I don't know. Simmons is a pretty mean guy. Well, actually, I think Simmons might be a tackle. We'll get into that in a minute. They did pick up Janoris Jenkins to a multi-year deal. I don't know the terms on that. Kevin Johnson to a one-year deal. Oh, and speaking of Colts players, yeah, they picked up safety Matthias Farley for a one-year deal as well. So that's interesting. Toxic Tommy, thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget, smash that like button and hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Appreciate it a lot. I see 3 likes so far. McChicken, Simmons and Autry are playing 3-4 defensive ends. Pretty lethal. Yeah, I mean, Simmons is a beast. He really is. He even gave Quentin Nelson a little bit of problems when Nelson was a rookie. So just let you know that. But anyhow, let's go to the roster because their offense, they took a serious hit. And speaking of Colts players, again, they have Chester Rogers, my guys. In case you didn't know that, they have Chester Rogers at wide receiver. Nick Westbrook Ekine at wide receiver. Josh Reynolds, Mason McKenzie, Marcus Johnson. Maybe you've heard of him. Cody Hollister, who's not shabby. Richard Davis. Cameron Batson. And then everybody knows who A.J. Brown is. He's been phenomenal ever since he was a rookie. Guy I seriously thought was going to be an absolute stud. They're missing a couple wide receivers, though, off this list. You know, Corey Davis, no longer with the team. And the guy that they picked up, was it last year or the year before last, as their nickel back. Apparently he got hurt, and now they just didn't re-sign him. They're really thin at wide receiver, outside of A.J. Brown, in all honesty. We talked about Jeff Swaim already. McCole Pruitt is a tight end they still have. Jared Pinkney. Tommy Hudson. Parker Hesse. Anthony Fursker. I'm sorry. I mean, the loss of Jonnu Smith, again, a guy who's going to hurt him because he was a good all-around tight end. He could catch out the backfield, be dangerous, very difficult to defend. And on top of that, he could block, right? I got a film room on Jonnu Smith, right? Over there on Deer Pats Nation because that's who signed him. Tackle-wise, they've got Ty Sombrello, Anthony McKinney, Taylor Lewan, who should be healthy this year and play well. That'll be a huge benefit for them over there at the left tackle position. Brandon Kemp, Paul Adams, that's their tackles. I think they might need another upgrade there, and that could be where they're looking for in the draft. We already talked about Matthias Farley as a safety for them. Running back-wise, we already know they got maybe one of the best running backs in football. He's so hard to bring down, right? A 6'3", 247 Derrick Henry. Raw, big number 22. They also have Jeremy McNichols, Deonta Foreman, Darrington Evans, and Sonoris Perry. Now, it might be Sonor Rice Perry? I don't know. There's an E at the end of the name. So I honestly, I don't know Perry very well. So if you're a Titans fan, please leave in the comments how you actually pronounce that name because I'm a little off on that. Deshawn Kaiser and Logan Woodside are the backups. Obviously, Ryan Tannehill, who ever since he went to the Titans from Miami and got out from underneath Adam Gase, he's just been a really solid all-around quarterback for the Titans. It was a great pickup for them. I thought he was going to do well when he got picked up, and sure enough, he did. Brett Kern is their punter. They do have Kendall Lamb also as a tackle. Now, they also have Nate Davis, Marshall Newhouse, David Kessenberry, on the offensive line, so that will probably help as well. We got a fullback Kari Blessing game. Interesting. At outside linebacker, they got Derek Robertson, Harold Landry. I forgot they had Harold Landry to go with Bud Dupree. That's nice. We'll see how he ends up working out. They've got 2 long snappers on their team. 2, Morgan Cox and Matthew Orzech. Again, a name that I'm not really familiar with, so my apologies if I chopped it up. They still have David Long, Jaw Johnson, Rashawn Evans, Nick Zubner, Will Compton, and as I mentioned, Jayon Brown is still there. Good for them. Darren Bates, Davin Bellamy, Ola Adeniyi. I don't know that name very well. They got a couple kickers on their team as well. Tucker McCann, and I think they got him on there because of how bad Steven Goskowski was not kicking very well last year at times. Look, a guard that I didn't even notice on the list. My apologies. Roger Suffold. Forgot about him. They still have Kevin Byard at free safety. And at defensive tackle, they got Julian Taylor, Tier Tart, Dalen Mack. Of course, we already talked about Jeffrey Simmons, who can move all around that defensive line. Laurel Murchison, Daquan Jones. Forgot about Jaquan. I don't know how I forgot about him. Jack Crawford. Then we got Wyatt Ray, who is kind of a defensive end, outside linebacker, depending upon where you want to put him. Nate Orchard, of course, is a defensive end, and then Danico Autry. Looking at the defensive backs, we got Maurice Smith, Chris Jackson, Amani Hooker, Dane Cruikshank, Ty Smith, Kareem Orr, Kevin Johnson, Janoris Jenkins, Christian Fulton, Breon Borders. Wow. I think they could actually upgrade there again as well. And then, for some reason, the centers are way off the list here, but Aaron Brewer, Ben Jones, and Daniel Munier. So, guys, that is what I'm looking at on their roster. And defensively, I think they bumped themselves up a little bit. But I don't know if they're that darn good. I think they took a major hit in the offense, really. So I'm going to jump over here in the chat and see what some of you guys are talking about. Jason David, thanks for being here. Charm City. Brandon Ace, thank you. I do think the Titans' defense will be better because I do think that their pass rush will be better, but their secondary worries me. I agree. Their pass rush should be better, especially with the additions of Bud Dupree and Danico Autry to go with Jeffrey Simmons. But like I said, their secondary scares the heck out of me. I don't know how good they're going to be. I think their offense could take a step back too. They're putting a lot on the shoulders of Henry and Brown, I think. Colts Loyalist, thanks for being here. He says the upside is that our O-line knows how to slow Danico Autry. And on another upside, a lot of our cornerbacks and defensive backs and guys know how to handle, Rodgers. So there you go with that too. Because Rodgers actually, he's not a terrible player. He wasn't that guy that the Colts needed to step up to be the number 2 or number 1 receiver. And that's why the Colts have went out and gotten other guys and ended up letting him go. But he's not a bad player. Brandon says, and I do think that the offense might take a step back because of the departures of Davis and Smith. 100% agree. McChicken says Cody Hollister is a former Patriot. Yep, I knew that. Jason David says he didn't care because about Rodgers very much because he dropped the ball a lot. But he was there. I mean, Andrew Luck trusted him a lot. You remember that? I mean, he was there a lot for Andrew Luck. So, they dropped Adam Humphreys. That's the name, Adam Humphreys. Thanks, Dirk of Time. Appreciate you. I think that had a lot to do. Adam looked really good when I was breaking him down when he became a free agent 2 years ago. But he's been suffering some injuries, right? And I think that's why they let him go. Yes, Desmond King is there on the team. Titans definitely need to draft wide receiver. I think they need to draft defensive backs, whether it be safeties or corners. And I think they need to go out and get another tight end. Really do. They got Lamb from Cleveland, huh? Okay, didn't know that. And yeah, Ant says that they might need O-line help too. Probably over there on the right tackle, since they don't have their former, first round pick they used on him. And now I think he's with the Browns. So that might be something that they could go with. Hey guys, while I'm sitting here talking, please don't forget, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Check out right here, streamlabs.com/LawrenceOwen/merch for my Colts Law merchandise. A lot of my stuff has that "have a good one." That's my, my ending saying that I love to do. So, I actually love that that picture and saying that I have on some of my merchandise. I think it's really cool. The direct link is in the description below. Brandon says, my only question about Bud Dupree is now he doesn't have TJ. Yeah, he's going to be their number one pass rusher. Well, I mean, he's not going to have to do it all. Autry does have pass rush to him. Jeffrey Simmons does have pass rush to him. So I think they're expecting them two guys to kind of help Bud Dupree, but we're going to find out early on in 2021 how good Dupree is without the rest of that Steelers defense there with him. Janoris. Thanks, Dirk. Appreciate that. If the Titans Henry ever goes down, they're done. They can't win without him. Jason David says, I don't know if they can't win. They're still a good team, but offensively they'll be this year they'll be left wanting, right? Because Derrick Henry's a major part of that offense. Morgan Cox is a good long snapper. All right. He's a former Raven, but he's like 35 years old. Yeah, the defensive secondary, and I agree. I think they need help a lot. Defensive front seven is actually, I like what they've got going with the defensive front seven on this Titans defense. I think it's a lot more. It looks a lot more effective than what it has in the years past. Ever since they got rid of that defensive tackle that they had. Where did he end up going? I can't remember. Was it the Raiders or something? I don't remember. But he was a really solid defensive tackle, and I couldn't believe they ended up letting him go. But now I think their front seven looks good, but I think they're going to be based on running the ball heavily and using taking their shots off play action and hoping that their front seven can stop runs and get pass rush. Because if they can't get pass rush, then they're in some serious deep trouble. At least that's my thought. McChicken says defensive front sevens, defensive secondary down, offense in general got hit hard. Yes, it did. Brian comes in, says beat the Titans, go Colts. I hope so. I hope that Indianapolis is able to fix a couple of the places that they need. I mean, overall, team-wise, I think the Colts are better now than what they were last year. But even with the loss, because, well, maybe not dead on, because, I mean, we did lose Houston. We lost Autry, and we lost Anthony Costanzo. Those are three very important starters, but we'll see what happens with the draft. We got some young guys that could step up to one of those pass rush spots, but definitely need to get a mainstream pass rusher, whether it be in the draft or in free agency. And, of course, got to get a left tackle. Hold on, let me, I got a cough. I apologize. That's what happens when you smoke. I'm a smoker for 30 years, man. Guys, don't start that if you haven't started it. It's awful. Ant Rodgers, didn't they lose to Dory Jackson? Shaking my head, they gave up on him too fast. Yeah. Any chance Henry slows down a little after his mad running? I don't know. I mean, the dude is built massive. That's the thing about Henry. He's like 2'6". He's a 6'3", 260-pound running back, basically. Or 250. Hold on. Let me get up here and look at this again. Because I'm pretty sure, what's his weight again? 247. So a 250-pound, 6'3" guy. And what's so powerful about Henry, I don't think he's going to slow down because of his size. It's just hard to bring him down. Yes, he has some elusive speed to him, but that's not the main thing about it. It's just he's so hard to bring down in the first, early on. And as long as he continues and stays healthy, he's going to be solid, I think, for at least another 3-4 years. That's just my thought. It took him a couple years to really get into the rhythm of running the football with the Titans. It took him a couple years just to get into that. But once they figured out what his how good he really was and how to run in the NFL, he's just taken off and no one's been able to really stop him. Maybe, Toxic Tom, maybe we could con him into getting LaRaven Clark. I doubt that. AFC teams, they watch other AFC teams a lot. They know what LaRaven was doing when he was in there playing against, the Browns. I mean, good Lord. They what would have to go through someone's head to see LaRaven Clark play and go, I need me some of that. I mean, you know what I mean? Ant Rogers agrees with you, though, Toxic. That's kind of cool. Do they have any cap space for post-draft free agency? That's interesting. Let me go look at that real quick. Titans cap space. Well, let's drop into the OTC and look and see what their team currently is sitting at. They got about $5.5 million. Which is not good. So no, post-draft, they got enough money to sign their draft picks, and that's it. That's it. Literally, they will go in the red if they sign even $1 million more. So they don't have any. They would have to renegotiate deals or something. Okay, so just let you know that you need around $6 to $7 million, depending upon how high you're drafting in the draft, to sign your guys. So it's not a good situation for the Titans when it comes to their cap space currently. Only effective way to counter Derrick Henry is to be the second coming of Dick Butkus. Honestly, no. Okay, so your defensive linemen, your big boys up front, if they get a hand on them, that's fine. But when you're looking at linebackers, corners, stuff like that, you cannot take Henry up high. You have to go low. You got to dive for his legs, wrap up. It's go for the leg, wrap, and roll. That's how you bring a guy like Derrick Henry down. Does that mean he'll probably get an extra yard or two by falling forward? That's fine. It's better than him breaking a tackle and busting out for another 10, 15 yards, though, right? That's fine. Give the man 3 yards, 4 yards. Don't give the man 8, 9, 10 yards, right? That's how I see how you stop this guy. That's the only way. Or you get him in the backfield before he gets himself rolling. That's another thing. Once he gets that 250-pound frame moving downhill, it's so hard to stop him. Now, you could grab him up in the backfield before he gets that momentum going and slow him up enough for guys to come and help you or bring him down yourself. But yeah, don't sit there and try to tackle him high once he starts getting it. Even I watched Darius Leonard. Who was it? Zach Hicks had this thing rolling all over the place where Malik Hooker tried to tackle Derrick Henry high, and Henry just, stiff arm threw him to the ground, right? And he said, how bad Hooker is at tackling. And I'm like, that's Derrick freaking Henry. Okay. Here, let's show you this clip that happened 2 plays later when he did the exact same thing to Darius Leonard and took off down the field for like 60 yards, right? I mean, that's what he does. You cannot tackle him high no matter what once he gets rolling. Once he starts to get rolling, you got to go low. There's no question on that. Alpha says, let's do the Titans what Andre Johnson did to Finnegan. Speed is the key to getting Henry, getting him early, full steam. He is deadly. That's what I'm saying, man. That's exactly it right there. You cannot do that. Hey, guys, I have a community post that I just posted, I don't know, a couple hours ago, talking about Paris Campbell. All right. Paris Campbell, I know he doesn't have a lot of stuff going on. Like, he doesn't have a lot of NFL film. But I was thinking about looking at all the games that he's played over his first 2 seasons. And even the plays where, you know, the ball's not going to him, doing a film room just to see how dangerous he could be if he stayed fully healthy for a season, right? So if you're interested in that, go to my community post and click the like on it and let me know in the comments. Loyalist says, I believe this year will be a lot of real good discount stopgaps in free agencies after the draft. Ballard's sweet spot. Glad Tennessee won't be competition. Shared needs. Okay. Well, it's possible. We also got to see what happens in the draft, right? I mean, Justin Houston left. What was it? The Ravens didn't sign a deal. Okay. Justin Houston's visited a lot of teams so far, hasn't signed a deal. So there's a possibility he may come back to Indy. I think he's waiting. He's waiting until after the draft to see if there's anyone out there that, might be a little, because we all know that defensive end pass rushers are a little thin at the top end in this year's draft. So guys like him might just be him and others that are, your veteran defensive ends. They may just wait till after the draft, and whenever there's a team out there that is in desperate need, they probably get paid a little bit more. Oh, I got like 30 likes on that now? Cool, Alpha. That's nice. I don't think I have that many likes right now on this video, though. So, guys, if you are watching this, please smash that like button. I'd appreciate it a lot. It helps with analytics and kind of share this out to other, so that other people can see and maybe look at it. Never know. Maybe some Titans fans will take a look and be like, oh, well, let's see what Colts fans are actually talking about when it comes to our team. Because we all know that Titans talk trash about Indy. I'm not going to talk trash about them, but I think their front seven's better. I think their offense has taken a major step back. So they do have some holes they need to fill. Okay, so Nomadic Brian says we need Houston to mentor Jalen Phillips or our edge guy that we get in the draft. Now, I will agree with you that the Colts would do well to sign a veteran edge rusher that has had success in the past. All right, whether, no matter who it is, whether it's Kerrigan, whether it's Houston, someone like that, because they're full of young guys. I don't think Houston would be a benefit to a team that already has veteran leadership on a defensive line, right? A team that has a lot of youth that need to see some guy like Houston who is out there after practice, after signings, after everything, and everybody else is already in the building. He's still out there slamming the sleds and stuff. That's the kind of guy that you need on a team that has a lot of youth on there that need to be led by example. And, currently right now, Indy doesn't have that. Now that they lost Autry and Houston, I think the Colts could use an extra defensive end veteran guy. And since Houston was already here, I wouldn't mind it. But thing is, does Houston want more money than what Chris Ballard is offering? That could be one of the reasons why he's not signed yet. Alpha says, I thought it was just the fans. Then they started stomping the logos. Really? I don't remember that. I remember Pittsburgh with a certain wide receiver that had an issue with dancing on logos. But yeah, you you don't disrespect logos like that. No question about it. You can't do it. I understand you get fired up for a game, and it's divisional rival, stuff like that, but you don't give fuel to the fire of another team. You don't do it. It's not a smart move. Odd so far. I don't have. Oh, by the way, I want to thank everyone. I've got over 1,300 subscribers now, so that's good. My goal is 1,500 by the end of the month. So let's get to it. I would really hope so. Next Friday, I won't be able to run my live stream because I will be in Indianapolis covering the Indy Express professional basketball team as the live commentator and broadcast coordinator for that team. So I will not be doing my regular evening podcast next Friday. I will do it on Saturday, however, because I have to be there next Friday and next Sunday. So I will do that podcast on Saturday, just to let you guys know. Fibno says, I'm so worried about our pass rush. I feel like it'll be our downfall this year. What do you think? I am worried about it. I've been saying that for a while. I think we have young guys on our team that need to step up, be healthy, and produce. And I think at least one of those guys will. We have Muhammad, we have Toure, we have Banagoo, you know. Now the other guy that we have from Ohio State, I think he's going to be a backup, a guy that'll come in and relieve guys like Stewart or Buckner. I don't think he'll play defensive end as much. But I think we definitely need to pick up a guy in the draft and probably another free agent as well, because we're still a little light on that end, in my opinion. Titans-Ravens last year. Titans started it. Harbaugh refused Vrabel's handshake. That's okay, Alpha. I got you. That's something different. That's some BS that happened because of when the Titans smashed them in the playoffs the year before last, right? I mean, embarrassed them. And you know, the Ravens have a little bit of a grudge against it. I think the Ravens beat the Titans this past season. I think. Did they? Let me look at that real quick. Hold on. Let's see here. No. They beat him in the wild card round. Okay, so they beat him last year. The Titans beat him during the regular season, and the Ravens got their revenge in the wild card round, defeating the Ravens by a touchdown, 20-13. So that's behind them now. I got a guy that I used to stream with over on Sportscaster named Joe Nubo. He now goes by Jose here on YouTube, and he hated the Titans because he couldn't believe that the Titans just couldn't get over. The Titans were kind of like the New England Patriots to us, right? When it comes to, just didn't have an answer for them because of what they were able to do to them. Alpha says, do I actually expect Jalen Phillips to be there at 21? No, I don't. I think he'll be picked before the Colts. But there's a chance he could. There's a slim chance that him or Greg could. There's a linebacker, outside linebacker, that I think would make an excellent pass rusher. He's like a 250, 260-pound linebacker who's really, really fast off the ball, gets off of blocks. I think he'd be a great pass rusher, but I need to quit throwing that out in the air because I don't want people sitting there thinking, oh, well, that's, Lawrence is talking about it, so, put that out there, and then other people realize, and then Ballard might already know about him and has looked at him and said, you know what, it's going to be a great defensive end. Hopefully no one's stupid enough to sit there and say, hey, let's draft him to be a pass rusher. So I need to shut up about it, just trusted Ballard in that situation. Alpha says Ravens won in the end. Yep. I don't see Phillips available at 21. Toxic Tommy says not many edge rushers this time around, and everyone always needs edge rush. Yeah, I think there's four. I think there's four guys in this draft that are worth a first-round pick. On defensive end, I don't see anyone after those four worth even a second-round pick. Okay? And the Colts don't even have a third-round pick right now. So, that's an issue. If one of those guys that I feel, or Ballard feels, would be a premier guy that would fit our scheme and do really well beside DeForest Buckner and get that consistent edge pass rush, I would be ecstatic if he used the 21st pick to get him if he was there. Absolutely ecstatic. Let me see here. Michael Gaskin, thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate you being here. Do you see Ballard taking Phillips with his medical issues, even if they're... Okay, so I don't have an issue with Phillips's concussions because they happened, 3 years ago? And it also had to do a lot with the fact that he was in a major vehicle accident, right? He was riding a scooter and got hit by a car. Okay, people not realizing this is not something that happened on the field. Now, the concussions afterwards happened, but I think it had a lot to do with that car wreck. All right. Then medically, the doctor's like, you shouldn't play football right now. So they let him go. And then a year later, Miami's like, hey, we think about maybe letting you play. Can we get a medical evaluation on you? The doctors released him. You know, Phillips is like, yay. He goes to Miami and balls out the entire year. No concussions. You know, so no, I have no issue. I think he's over that. And that's nice to know about. How many draft picks do you think we will end up with after this draft is done, Loyalist says. Now, here's the deal. It depends. It depends. If there is no guy there that I feel that Ballard would be if there's no one there that Ballard feels is worth the first round pick when it comes to pass rush or offensive tackle, I see him moving back. If there's someone there that is worth the first round pick, he's going to use it. Okay? You don't pass up talent, especially when it's at need. Okay? But if not, I could see him trading back and end up with 7 picks again. He may even trade back in the 4th and 5th rounds because, you know, he loves doing that kind of stuff. I could see him with 7 or 8 picks this year, even though currently we only have 6. But don't rest all of your eggs into thinking that he's going to just trade back in the 1st, because I mean the drop off in talent, especially at the position that we need at pass rush, is huge. And now offensive tackle, that's a different story. We could probably get a very good starting offensive tackle at the 54th pick. Troger, what's up, my guy? I'm sure anything we discuss Ballard has already considered. Probably. I'm just saying that there's not a lot of people out there like you and, you know, guys who talk about teams here on the internet or whatnot. A lot of us, they don't sit there and talk about, they just, when they do their draft, you know, mock drafts or whatnot, they just see what's at the position available. You know, when I look at someone and I do a film room and I'm like, holy crap, I was watching film, like I said, on this outside linebacker who's considered a first round pick, and I see him, and I'm like, oh my God, this guy could be a great defensive end pass rusher. I think he'd be freaking fantastic sitting beside DeForest Buckner, right? A lot of guys don't see that because they haven't watched the film on it, and they don't think about stuff like that. Whereas I do. I might see a corner and go, you know what? He's probably a 4th round corner, but I would pick him up in the 2nd round to be a safety, right? Because I think he'd be a better safety than he would be a corner, right? I honestly, I think Rocky Sin would be a better safety than he would be a corner. I really do. He's better in the zone situation. He's better at reading and reacting rather than man covering because he likes to get handsy. But as a safety, I think he'd be great. And he's a very physical guy, so you want that when you're wanting a safety. Nicole Nossinger, what's up? Ravens and the Titans are gladiators on the field. They are. I mean, they're a physical team. The Colts are a physical team too, though. So remember that. I mean, the Colts are a great. Holy crap! Aaron Stackhouse with a donation of $20 in the super chat. Aaron, thank you so much. I appreciate the donation. That will go to help bringing some more stuff to help get more better content to you, whether it be software, hardware, other things of that nature. It's very, very kind of you, Mr. Stackhouse. Appreciate that. Let me move in here. Good enough. You sold me on Phillips. Thanks for your answer. What's your thoughts on Greg, or however that name is? That's why I don't even pronounce that name, Gaskins. I don't even pronounce that name. I just say Greg. All right. Greg Ross. That's his name. My thoughts on him is I'm seeing him slide. So there's a slim possibility that he drops to 21. And he's another guy that I would grab at 21. He's got length and size. He's raw, though. That's the only thing. I think Phillips is a better athlete than Greg is. But I think Greg is... Both these guys are like built a lot, not quite as tall and as big as DeForest Buckner, but are built, that tall, lengthy kind of guy. Phillips is quicker off the snap, got a little bit more speed, but Greg has a little bit more power. So I like Greg, and if he drops to 21 and the Colts and Ballard grabs him, I would not be opposed to it whatsoever. Chris says, don't want to give the competition any ideas. That's exactly what I was talking about with that. There's a lot of guys out here that talk about things. I don't want to drop that out there, I really don't. But then again, I'm just Lawrence Owen, right? I'm just this guy who has this nice talk show that you guys out here are listening to, and no one listens to me when it comes to professional teams. I'm not a professional scout. Right? They have scouts that do this 24/7, 365. They know. I'm sure they know. I mean, that's the bit. Chris Ballard and his scouting unit is ranked the #1 drafting unit in the NFL over the past 3 years. The #1. They don't need my help. Alpha says, do you believe who do you believe will be the best quarterback from this draft regardless of projections? Okay. Sorry, I didn't catch that who at the beginning of that. Oh, Lawrence. Come on. You can't go wrong with someone named Lawrence. You can't. Jacksonville's going to get themselves a heck of a quarterback, which makes me want to know what in the world they're going to do with Gardner Minshew. It's straight up. The next guy on the next guy down, it really depends upon where they land, not projection. Anyone after Lawrence is scheme fits, right? You don't want to put Mac Jones in a Baltimore Ravens scheme, right? You don't want to put the OSU quarterback in a Baltimore or in a New England Patriots scheme, right? So that has a lot to do with, scheme fit, team fit. So it's really difficult to say who is the best and who will end up being the best until I see where they land so I can decide on whether or not they're a good fit with the team and how they're going to be used. I hope that answers your question. Again, Aaron, $20. I just want to reconstitute this. Thank you very much for that donation. Don't forget, oh, there we are down there. You're better than sweaty. Okay. All right. Loyalist says, say you trade back to 28-29. Would you like the trade to involve a third rounder this year or a second next year? To be all in, I'd take the second next year. Heartbeat. No question. No question at all. I would take it next year. But I don't know if that'll happen. There's depth at tackle, there's depth at wide receiver, there's depth at cornerback in this draft. Now, you could argue that all three of those positions the Colts could use a little extra help on. I don't know what the pass rush is going to look like next year because we had a short COVID season next year. So but I would rather have a higher pick later and build for the future than take a lower pick now. That's just my thought. Been wanting to do this for a while, Aaron says. Finally got a new job. 2019 was a you-know-what. Love the content. Please keep it up. Aaron, I'm here for you, man. I always love doing content for people. My thoughts are out here, and I want to share them with people, right? Like I said earlier in the stream, literally like 2 minutes before I went live, I dropped a video with my thoughts on the Cleveland Browns releasing Sheldon Richardson, and where I think he would go, maybe the reasons why they let him go, stuff like that. So it's not just Colts. I do it everywhere. So, guys, I see we got a few people in here. Please don't forget, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag the notification bell so you're notified next time I go live or upload a video. Don't forget the merch shop right up here. The link, direct link, is in the description, plus my Patreon. Let me talk about Patreon. Everything I do, content-wise, whether it's on my channel, somebody else's channel, anything, goes to Patreon. And then I make Patreon-specific videos as well when I have patrons ask me questions about stuff on Patreon. They'll send me DMs and ask me, and I'll do a video for you, So it's simple. It's only $5 a month. $5. A flat rate. Everybody gets all of my content. So very, very simple. I'll increase more content on Patreon the more I get when it comes to patrons. As you know, Aunt Rogers is a patron. Ross is a patron. And I've got somebody else, and I can't remember who it is a patron as well. I've only got 3 patrons right now. So once I hit 10, I will start giving more and more content to Patreon. So just let you know. Mock drafts are like NCAA basketball brackets. Too many early surprises. Yeah, I agree. Troger, they also should have people that monitor media. You never know what nugget of information you might pick up from some guy on YouTube. I'm sure, okay, we were talking about this before. Me and some other guys. A lot of people are like, well, they don't pay attention to YouTube, guys. I'm almost 100% sure they do. Maybe not 100%. They might not watch every one of our videos. But I think they watch some of them. Just to kind of get an idea of what these guys are like. Because they reach out to us on the occasion and say, hey, would you be interested in joining this part or this? Like at the end of the month, some of us have been invited to an event with the Indianapolis Colts. They reached out to a few of us. I can't say who, can't say what, can't say why, but it happens. And they're only going to do that to people that they can, have a little bit of trust in what they might say or do or stuff like that. So, they pay attention to an extent. Maybe not 100% in full all-out depth and watch. Like, I'm sure that the Colts PR department is not sitting in my live chat right now. And if they are, Aaron, thank you so much. When he officially goes to Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence shall be known as Jags Law. Alpha. That's funny, man. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Yeah. He might be. And that'll be funny. Gaskin. Oh, wait. Toxic Tommy says the Colts are a team built on second rounders. Currently, they are. I mean, we got a couple first rounders on us, but yeah, there's a lot of second round players in the draft, and that's just facts. I would not be surprised if, the 21st pick comes up and Ballard trades not for a draft pick, but for a player. That's a possibility too, so don't forget about that kind of stuff. Let's see here. What's your thoughts on second round or third round pass rushers? Really like Ronnie Perkins. Michael, I wouldn't waste a second round pick on a pass rusher. Unless by some odd miracle, like Greg or Phillips or someone like that falls dramatically. But I don't think a second round. Now, third round's a different story. There's probably 10 third rounders that I would grab. Okay? But we don't have a third round pick currently. Okay? So, and I would not use a second rounder unless someone seriously falls. Fun fact, Aunt Roger says, Carl Willis uncle played for the Indianapolis Colts. Interesting. All right. I think I read that somewhere, and I just haven't really remembered that. Ballard may have thought of what you have thought of. After seeing what some of those front offices have done, he doesn't want you teaching them. Loyalist, I agree. I agree. Is there any chance we re-sign Hooker? That could give us 3 safety look with Blackman playing more of a Honey Badger role. I'm assuming that's what you're Tyrann Mathieu, Honey Badger. Is that who you're talking about? Yes, there is a chance. He's went out and visited, I think, 7 to 8 different teams so far, and has not been signed yet. So, him, I could see a signing similar to maybe Marlon Mack, a 1 year, $2-3 million deal. Prove it. Can you stay healthy? Can you get out there and still perform well? It'd be smart of him to come back to a team that he knows well and can perform well with that team to show other teams in the NFL, hey, I'm worthy of a bigger contract. And I would not have an issue with it. My cat just hit my mic, my camera stand. My bad. I'm not having an earthquake, I promise. Let me see here. Christopher Kenyard, thanks for being here. Appreciate you being here, guy. Guys, it's been, 55 minutes now? So what do you think the Tennessee Titans, with their schedule, now remember, they're going to play the Bills, which we play the Bills. They're going to play the East, the AFC East, the NFC West, and then all the first rounders, or, division winners, right? Pittsburgh, which I think that they lucked out on that one. I think they lucked out on having to play Pittsburgh this year rather than the Ravens or the Browns, unlike the Colts, right? But they have to play the Chiefs this year, right? Whereas the Colts play, I think, the Raiders. I believe they were the second. And then the Colts have to play Tampa Bay, whereas I think the Titans play the Saints. What do you think their record will be? Currently, if you just look at their roster right now, with being a lot lighter on the offense through the air and Jonnu Smith, not being there for extra blocking, front seven being better than what it was last year. Do you think they'll hit 11 wins again? Now, don't forget, there's 17 games next year. 17. So, do you think that? Ooh, Gaskin asked a good question about Hooker. Could he play corner, or is that just a flat-out no? I honestly, he probably could, but I still think because of his reaction ability, I would still rather use him as a single high safety. I think that's where he's going to be big in the NFL. So that's my honest opinion on that. I think that's where his niche is, or niche, depending upon how you pronounce it. Brian says 11-6 unless we sweep them, then 10-7. Ant Rogers, thank you so much. Christopher Kinyard says 10-7 as well. I think Bill Brooks was on Tecmo Bowl. Chris Troger says he was. Bill Brooks was a great wide receiver. Ant Rogers with a $5 super chat asks, any chance there could be a Kari Willis film room? Now, I think I dropped the Kari Willis film room during the season last year. I think I did. But, let me go look. Let me look at my stuff real quick. I need to go to YouTube before I do this search. Let's see when I dropped that. 10 months ago. Okay. No, that was, yeah. Okay, I did do it, but I dropped it on Bring the Juice podcast 10 months ago. So, since I dropped that on their stream, yes, in case you didn't know, I did probably 5 or 6 film rooms for Bring the Juice last year. I will go ahead and I'll do a Kari Willis film room. Now, whether it's before or after the Paris Campbell film room, I don't know. But over the next 2 weeks, I'll see if I can't get a Kari Willis film room out for you, okay? Because you are a patron and you drop so much money in my super chat every week. I appreciate it so much. I'm going to drop that for you. Alpha says he thinks that they will go 10-6. Colts Loyalist says no way, 8-9. Kenyard says he hopes 8-9. We're talking about the Titans here on the expectations. I currently right now have them going 10-7. That's my opinion. I think Henry's still a beast, and I think their front seven is much better, much improved. And they're deep. Currently, right now, the draft is really deep in wide receivers. I think they'll probably go get 1 or 2 in this draft. Nick says, I think the Titans should not be underestimated, and that they'll be tough this year, that they'll bring it. And I agree. They're a well-coached team, right? Mike Vrabel is a very, very good head coach, and he always keeps that team level-headed and focused. And it says that's a bet. Good luck. Thank you. Gaskin says 9-8, missing the playoffs. I feel like they lost too much, and I feeling that this year will be the year that Derek falls off. I don't think he falls off. personally, I don't think if he falls off, it's because of the loss of Jonnu Smith and the weapons on the offense, and teams will be too focused on stopping him rather than worrying about stopping the pass from Ryan Tannehill and the rest of the offense. That's a possibility. But Derrick Henry himself, I don't think is going to fall off talent-wise. Predicting records in a longer season is a tough call, Toxic Tommy says, and I agree. Colts Nation says, hi, thank you so much. Ant says, I can't call record yet, but I do think the Colts will be battle tested if they make the playoffs. I think so too. This year will be the year I think everything will work out really well for the Colts because there will be an offseason. I don't know if the Colts have accepted or denied in-person off-field activities like OTAs and stuff. I know some teams have, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're not going to have in-person stuff, that they decided that they weren't going to do that. I don't know if the Colts are going to or not. I think they should, especially with a brand new quarterback coming in and some key players that will be playing key starting positions on the team, okay? So I think it'd be in their best interest to do that. But we'll see what happens because it's the Colts, you know? And they're going to do what they feel is best for the team long term. Let's see here. I think Wentz is going to do something. He didn't finish it, but that's okay. Nicole drops a super sticker. We got a little video. What is that? That's a Super Nintendo controller jumping up, and that is cool as heck. Thanks, Nikki. Appreciate that. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, that's my sister-in-law. She's really cool. She actually went out and purchased the handbag, the hand tote, out of my merch shop. She just received it yesterday. So hopefully that handbag is doing really well for her. Hopefully she likes it. I think Wentz is going to show out. Okay, that was what you said, Christopher. I think so too, as long as he got so, because especially if the Colts can, the receivers can stay healthy. Okay, that's the thing that I think is a big import. I want to see Paris Campbell stay healthy. I want to see T.Y. stay healthy. If they stay healthy, I think Wentz could have a very, very, very good season this year. There were offensive losses will outweigh their defensive gains. Colts loyalist says about the Titans. Currently, right now, I agree. And that's why I don't have them going 11-5. I have them going 10-6 or 10-7. Okay, that's a 2-game separation, believe it or not. Even though they're only winning one less game, it's a 2-game separation at 10-7 because of the 17 game year. Chris says, sorry, I keep hitting the wrong button. It happens. Brian says, a lot of this hinges on whether vaccines are mandated and deemed effective to allow more extended time outside of regular games. I don't know if you can mandate a player or a person to have to get a vaccine, though. I understand the argument for it, but I think that's unconstitutional, and I don't think that that's going to happen. I mean, I get why people want to have that happen, but I don't think you can do it legally. I don't think it's legal, but it is a business. The NFL is a business, and it's a private business. It's not a public where it's owned by, the individuals. So legally, they might be able to mandate it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know, but we'll see. I agree with the delay in Johnson & Johnson. I don't see many people getting vaccinated unless the owner buys some for the organization. right now, man, vaccines are free. You know, I'm sitting here in Marion, Indiana. You can go to Myers and get a free vaccine right now. So, for anyone over the age of, I can't remember, 8, I think, something like that. I'm just saying. So, all right, guys, it's been over an hour. Nick says, I love the tote. It is lined and is comfy to carry. I'm glad you like it. I'm very happy to know that you like the quality of the tote that you bought out of my merch shop. Appreciate that. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to decide to get something to eat and fix food for my family. So thank you so much for coming here and visiting. I really, really appreciate the talks. I appreciate all the chat, donations. Please spend a moment, go down to the description, check out my merch shop. I got a whole list of stuff. Check out my Patreon. I got a lot of extra videos in there. Like I said, it's only $5 a month, so it's very, very simple. I got to go, but thank you so much for being here. And as usual, I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law, and I want you have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.